game. Blouses.
Galanchuk.
Disaster.
Spaghetti.
Disaster.
Well, I mean, I'm no doctor.
We now join America's most popular show, already in progress. Everybody loves
Mitch and Sean. You guys are the greatest duo.
Fantastic.
That team sure did suck last night. They just plain sucked. I've seen teams suck before, but they were the suckiest bunch of sucks that ever sucked.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Post Game Pints podcast with me, Mitch Gallo, and Sean Campbell, brought to you by LaBrosse Brewery. Sean, I have to say, you look pretty slick. You look
Thank
like
you.
you look like a businessman at the end of a really rough day at the office.
It was,
You know,
it was a rough day at the
the
office.
top button's undone. The jacket's a little looser than when you got to the office.
Yeah.
And what do
No-
you do
no
after
hat.
a tough? No hat. What do you do after
Yeah.
a tough day at the office? Well, you
I,
grab a pint, right?
Yeah, I grab a pint of Campbell Play-by-Play IPA, limited supply remaining at LaBrosse. Check it out, labrosse.com, 133 LaBrosse in Point Claire. Get your Angry Gallo ale. But yeah, after a long, hard day's work, I like to sit back and just crack one open and usually talk sports with you, Mitch Gallo. So that's exactly what I want to do. We got a lot to get to because this is our NHL playoff preview show. And we're finally going to be able to do this. Dave, I want graphics here where you see my bracket. I'll see Gallo's bracket. We'll see who was able to pick the Stanley Cup winner. I know who you're picking. You know who I'm picking in the end to win it all. And it'll be interesting because they might meet in the second round.
Yeah, that would be interesting for sure. A little bit of a tease there, and just to full disclosure here.
Yeah.
At the recording of this podcast, can I give away exactly when we're recording here?
Sure. I just finished a Laval Rocket game. That's why I'm all dolled up. How's that?
Yeah. Okay. Well, right now there is 2 minutes left in the first period of Game 1 between St. Louis and Colorado. Colorado has a 1-0 lead.
Mhm.
The Carolina Hurricanes are about to go up 1-0 on the Nashville Predators in their series. They're up 4-2. And moments ago, Boston, on a Brad Marchand overtime winner, evened their series with the Washington Capitals at 1. We also
So
know
first
the-
minute. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
another quick one, and it's funny how that seems to happen after a really tightly contested game. And good on Boston; they were actually down 3-2, and Taylor Hall scored the tying goal the third period with under 5 minutes left to send that game into overtime. What an acquisition he's been for the Boston Bruins. Your other series, you have Florida and Tampa Bay. Florida has a 1-0 lead in that series.
Tampa does. Tampa. Braden Point scored that game winning goal.
Point. Sorry, I'm really cheering for Florida, and I thought they should have won that game. So
They didn't,
you're
though.
right. You're right. Tampa Bay has that 1-0 lead.
It's
And
crazy
then-
when there's so much happening at the same time. 'cause
I know.
I'm with you, Mitch. It's like,
especially
who's Colorado? Okay, who's Colorado and Vegas playing? Because I kind of get confused between who they're playing because in my mind, they're both moving on to face each other in the next round. But man, the Vegas Minnesota, that first game, it was 0-0 and Minnesota has Vegas's number. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can even get through the first round.
Yeah, as they also pick up an overtime shutout to win 1-0 on the overtime winner, and a fantastic performance from Cam Talbot making 42 saves. So that's where we're at right now with all the series around the NHL. And let's start our playoff preview, Sean. And maybe we should start with the series that's tied at 1, since the most games have been played in that one.
Like I'm going to be honest too, Mitch. I filled out my bracket in my mind on my paper for this show ahead of time, and what's happened so far has not changed any of my picks. Okay. Just so
I'm with you. It's funny because quite often when I'm watching the Stanley Cup playoffs, every team that wins one game, I'm like, they're going to win the Stanley Cup.
yeah.
Then
There
I'm
is
like, okay.
there is a game going on right now that I have as a sweep, and I'm like, ooh, they better, if they don't win game one, and then I say it's a sweep, like am I an idiot? So
Right.
I so I'm not sure. I have one sweep. Do you have any sweeps in the first round?
No, I don't.
Okay, so let's start, like you said, with Boston and Washington. 2 games in, 2 overtime games. Oshie wins the first one. Marchand wins the second one. So we pretty much have a 5-game series. Well, I'll tell you, if it's a 5-game series, I'm taking the Capitals in 5 because I had the Capitals in 7. I've always liked the way that the Capitals have been built. I know that they're a little banged up. I know that they're just they're not the same team. There's a little bit of discord happening within the organization with some of its players. But I always liked Zdeno Chara. I know they have a problem in goal right now, but experience, I know the Bruins have it too. I think the Capitals realize there's not much time left in this group, and I think they're going to be able to get by the Bruins. And a lot of people felt that the Bruins overachieved this year. They were good. They were good for their money. I don't know if they have it for a long run, even though that, Taylor Hall, which I have to eat a burger off the ground because he scored more goals than Curtis Lazar, has fit in amazing with the Bruins. And I'm wondering if that's his future home moving forward. I don't know how they'll fit it, but I wonder if that's his future home. But nonetheless, I have the Capitals in 7 or in the final 5.
Well, I'm going to go against you on this one with my prediction. And, we had our power rankings, and I had the Capitals in there about a month ago when we were making our picks. But Sean, to me, the goaltending situation in Washington is very concerning to me. Banasek obviously gets hurt in the first period of the first game, stretching out too far and pulling a muscle. Samsonov is part of that situation that you're talking about where we don't even know why he's been out of the lineup. Like it's him and Kuznetsov breaking protocols, getting COVID. Like we don't know, out doing things they shouldn't be doing. And we know Kuznetsov has some history with that. Kuznetsov hasn't played so far in the series. That's a big time difference maker, not currently in their lineup for whatever reason. And I feel like there's too much surrounding the Washington Capitals. So if this series goes 7 games, Sean, which I think it's going to, or as you say now 5 games since both teams have picked up 1, I'll take Tuukka Rask over Craig Anderson at this point any day of the week.
Yeah, I think they're both flawed teams. I'll tell you right now.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I don't like Boston. And I did my hockey pool where you just pick 15 players. I didn't take any Bruins or any Capitals. I don't think to be clear. So
I have the list somewhere around here, but I don't think I took either one of those. All right, so on that front, let's move to the same division. Pittsburgh and the New York Islanders. Islanders, thanks to Kyle Palmieri, already up 1-0 in that series. I'll tell you, I have the Penguins in 6, and I'm basing this not that I'm cheering against the Islanders. I kind of forgot that they had Palmieri and they went out and got Zajac and 2 moves, the trade deadline moves. That when we talked about it, we loved them. I love the moves. I think it makes the Islanders perfect. I think that they're Stanley Cup winning material. I do. This is just me purely not betting against Sidney Crosby. That's what it is. I'm just not betting against Sidney Crosby. I think that Sidney Crosby down the stretch, I was watching him. I saw a bunch of, he was just on this level that I'm like, aren't you old now? He's not. He's still just rolling. I think he might be a Hart candidate in the end. He might be a Hart Trophy candidate. He's not going to win. McDavid's winning it, but he might be a Hart. And aren't you old? And I told you that guys over 30 don't win the Hart Trophy. It just doesn't happen in the National Hockey League. So this is just me not betting against Sidney Crosby. He scored a beautiful goal in that game. One hand on his stick, puts it out, tips. That's just a thing of beauty. That's the reason I'm picking him. That's it. I'm banking everything on Sidney Crosby on this one.
Well, he can score goals in so many different ways. And that was one of them. What a great deflection that was. I also am going to go with the Pittsburgh Penguins in 6 games. Now, I say that knowing that Tristan Jarry has to be a whole lot better than he was in game 1 because it's probably not for their goaltending. The Penguins do take game 1, but Jari was beat upstairs a couple times on that glove side. Didn't look great. Now, I'm not putting the Palmieri goal on him. That one, I mean, I thought his positioning was pretty good. I know people were talking about it like he should have stopped it. I mean, there's basically a slot the size of a puck, and Palmieri fit it there. So I'm not talking about that one, but I thought the Pajot one especially kind of fluttered over his glove and beat him upstairs. They're going to need more from Tristan Jari. I wonder at this time about Evgeny Malkin's health and when he will come back, since he didn't play in game one. I like what Jeff Carter has been able to do since going to Pittsburgh at the deadline. It looks like he's a rejuvenated player, and he's really relishing the opportunity to play on a team like the Penguins. And like you, Sean, I'm not going to bet against Sidney Crosby in a playoff series.
Yeah.
I know the Islanders have had their way with the Penguins in recent memory, and the Penguins haven't had a ton of playoff success the last couple times out. But I just think that puts even more motivation in Sidney Crosby's back pocket. So I'm going to say Penguins in 6.
Yeah, I have Penguins in 6 as well. So we're on the same page. Ding, ding, ding. We have the exact same pick in that one. So good to know that we're not in the same. Let's move over. Why don't we go west? Let's do Minnesota and Vegas. In this one, I have Vegas in 7 against Minnesota. But, man, Minnesota knows how to beat Vegas.
So I'm going to go with Minnesota here. And I actually, when I was doing my playoff pool, was going to go Vegas heavy until I saw the matchup with Minnesota. I think Vegas would beat Colorado in a playoff series.
You don't think they're going to play?
And I think Colorado would beat Minnesota in a playoff series, but I think Minnesota is going to beat Vegas in a playoff series. And it's funny how things can work out that way. I think people are sleeping on the Minnesota Wild. I think that they have a lot of talent. I think they're a good team. I think they have
well
solid
coached
goaltending. They're well coached for sure. I mean, Evason's going to be up for the Jack Adams Trophy, Jack Adams Award for Coach of the Year. So, and I love the way they played in Game 1, even though I had picked them beforehand. But Sean, again, to me, it's about the record that they have this season against Vegas at 5-1-2, and all time, no team has had more success against Vegas since Vegas has entered the league than the Minnesota Wild. Why that is, I don't fully know, but I'm not going to argue with the numbers. They speak for themselves, and then I'm gonna pick Minnesota here.
Yeah, so I'm going
in 7.
I'm going Vegas in 7, and I know that 7 means no, but I'm making the hard choice that it is Vegas. I know how good Minnesota is, but I still think that there's some good depth there on Vegas. They have to figure out sometimes some secondary scoring, because right now, goals are going to be hard to come by. And I do find that Vegas wasted an incredible performance from Marc-Andre Fleury in that 1-0 overtime loss. But at the same time, I have a lot of faith in Marc-Andre Fleury, more than I do in Cam Talbot. Colorado, St. Louis, I'm going Colorado in 5. The Blues are just missing pieces. They weren't great this year. Colorado's primed and ready for a Stanley Cup run. I think this could be the year that they really make that next step. They've got superstars in Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, Cale Makar is taking this game. You thought Cale Makar was good as a rookie coming out of college playing in the playoffs? Cale Makar has figured out how to play in both ends of the ice. Yes, he's more of an offensive guy. The acquisition of Devin Taves just changed the makeup of this team. And there's just those depth players that they have on their team, like the Burakovsky. I've been clamoring for a guy like that across the league. I think he's so underrated. He fits the mold of what they want to do. Nazem Kadri, I thought it was such a steal for them to bring him into the mix. There's just little things around the Colorado Avalanche that I just love. They've really slowly built this program up. You've got Nathan McKinnon at the right age. Nathan McKinnon can carry a game and win a game on his own. I got Colorado in 5 games on the Blues.
Yep. So we have the same team and same amount of games.
Ding, ding.
This was the one I considered making a sweep. I didn't, because I think Colorado has a lot of veteran players that went to the Stanley Cup Finals. So I'm not going to completely disrespect them like that and say they're not even going to win a game in this series. But Sean, I'm a little bit biased towards the Colorado Avalanche. I like that team a lot. They were my favorite team in the 90s. My appreciation for Peter Forsberg. I've spoken about it on the podcast many, many times. I'm so happy that team is back to elite level, because there was some
Yeah.
times where it was a little bit iffy, and that's why they got all those picks like Rantanen and Landeskog and obviously McKinnon, who was a number 1 pick. So just happy to see them back at the top and as one of the Stanley Cup favorites. And I think they are going to have an easy time with the St. Louis Blues.
All right, so let's move on to the let's get to the Tampa Florida series. What a game 1. I can't wait for game 2. I don't want to miss a second of this series. I know people feel like they're sleeping on Florida. I know you're cheering for Florida. I think that they've got some players that people are figuring out who they are. No one watches them. No one pays attention to them. I think that Florida hockey in Florida as a whole, Tampa, Florida, with this rivalry, it's going to help the sport grow. I think they're going to be like, what is this? What's going on? Why is everybody talking about hockey? That's what's going to happen. But I'm sorry. You saw what happened. Intensity leads to penalties. Penalties lead to power plays. Power plays lead to Kucherov. That's what happens. I think, and just the game breaker that Point and Stamkos and Kucherov and Hedman are. And yes, Florida has game breakers, but I trust Vasilevsky a whole lot more than I trust Bobrovsky. I've got Tampa in this one, 7.
So I have Tampa in 7 as well.
But you're cheering for Florida.
I'm cheering big time for Florida. I wonder if I didn't like Bobrovsky really in game 1. I wonder if that
there was how many 5-hole goals were in this game?
And even the I think it was the Coleman shorthanded goal right after. By the way, that goal got disallowed. Right on the doorstep. I thought that was a brutal call. And Tampa Bay scores the shorthanded goal right after. I thought they could beat him under the armpit. Like, man, he's not the goalie he once was. I wonder if they go to Spencer Knight at some point.
I don't know. Maybe they go with Chris Driedger.
Yeah, he's also played very well this year. But maybe put it in the hands of the kid who is your top pick and get him some game action in the playoffs. I don't know. If you
have to change your goalie, you're going to lose the series. That's all. If Florida has to change goalie, they're going to lose the series.
True.
Against Tampa, they can't afford it. They just can't afford it.
We remember goalie. When Washington started Grubauer, went down 2-0,
but they went to Holtby. They're not going to a kid. Last time they went, like someone did that to a kid was Cam Ward. I know that's the
same thing.
But this is Tampa Bay. Like, this is Tampa Bay.
By the way,
this is not the Montreal Canadiens.
By the way, you talk about taking penalties and Tampa Bay on the power play. Is there anybody in the league that does the fake shot pass better than Kucherov?
I just missed him. Everybody's mad that he's playing. I'm happy he's there. I love watching
down. It looks like he's gonna shoot, and then he puts it right to the high slot. Like, I love that play.
I think he almost fooled Point on that.
Yeah, I'm sure Point's seen it a couple times in practice. Unbelievable how Kucherov was just able to jump back into it like that. The one thing, Sean, that concerns me big time for Tampa Bay, though, and again, I'm picking Tampa Bay in 7. I'm cheering for the Florida Panthers. I just don't know how healthy Victor Hedman is. And he is a beast, and he'll play through pain. And we go back to that series 2 years ago that Tampa Bay lost to Columbus. Hedman was hurt in that series. We found that out later, and that's why he wasn't able to do some of the things we know he can do. If Hedman isn't 100%, I still like Tampa Bay's blue line, but man, that guy's important, and that could make all the difference if he's just not feeling right.
Yeah, but they got the depth now. I like the acquisition of David Savard. I think that's going to help. You have a McDonough, you have a Sergachev. That's a different player. Chernak. That blue line's just stacked. They can, not that you can handle like the best defenseman leaving, but I still think they can move on. All right. I don't want to get caught behind here because we got a lot of picks to do in our playoff preview. And maybe if we have time, a little pop quiz at the end here on the Post Game Pints podcast.
Whoa, we're halfway there.
I just want to throw this out there. Since we're halfway there, check out wolfpacks.ca. You got a little puppy, you got a little dog in your house, check it out. Just go to the website, wolfpacks.ca. Everything else will tell you what you need to do. It's just you get a little package every month. It's subscription based, delivered to your front door, and your doggy gets a little package. It's great. I just encourage you to do it. If you have a dog, you owe it to yourself just to go to this website. People go to websites all the time. Go to the website. They'll give you all the information, wolfpacks.ca.
Woof, woof. Woof, woof. By the way.
All right. Yeah.
By the way, Vader's, it's his birthday tomorrow.
Oh, how old's Vader?
So shout out to Wolfpack.
Yeah.
Vader is 9.
Oh,
tomorrow.
that's good age. It's good age. Nice.
Yeah,
My
he's
son
mature,
just
but-
turned 9. He's not mature, my 9-year-old son.
Yeah, and well, obviously Vader's aging in dog years.
Yeah.
Your son not so much. Aging in normal people years.
Yeah, well, he's
Which is
just
good for
falling
you.
after his father because I'm 42 and I'm not mature.
You're a man.
Yeah, but look, I've suited up for the show.
Very nice, very nice. All right, what's
All right.
next?
Carolina, Nashville. I got Carolina sweep. I don't really need to say much about it. I think Carolina's better than Nashville.
Well, Sean, I think you know how I feel about Carolina. I'm not going to say they're going to sweep the series. I'm going to go Carolina in 5 games, just because I think Nashville's Saros has it in him to steal one game on his own. We've seen him do that, and also, I think it's something like 20 of the last 30 games of the season Nashville won or got points in.
Yeah.
So they played playoff style hockey leading up to this point. So I think they have one win in them, but I think Carolina is just stacked.
Let's go to Canada. I got the Edmonton Oilers over the Winnipeg Jets in 5 games. I am riding Connor McDavid right past my former Atlanta Thrashers. This is just the McDavid show. I know Draisaitl does his thing. I think Connor McDavid. Here's the thing. I said this on the other day on TSN 690 when I was hosting. Mitch, I don't know if you heard it. I saw it on social media. I don't know if you've seen this number. Okay, I saw it. I had to double check it. You know what I'm talking about with McDavid?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. So in the final 14 games of the season, 14 games,
Yeah.
he had 36 points.
Okay.
That's more points than any player had all season on the New Jersey Devils.
No, I didn't see that. That's pretty
I saw
funny.
that. I was like, no. And I didn't believe it. I went and did the research myself because I didn't believe it at all. I was like, no. That's, yeah, Wikipedia, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe you. And then I was like, okay, so he has 36 points in the final 14 games. And Pavel Zacha had 35 points in 50 games. I was like, so I'm riding the McDavid wave on that one against Winnipeg. Winnipeg's they didn't finish strong for me. There's a lot of guys I like on that team. I like the way that they're built, but I don't like that. I love Hellebuck. I don't like that defense versus Connor McDavid.
Yeah,
McDavid had more points against the Jets than he had against the Senators this year, and he torched the Senators.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Also, the season series very heavily favored Edmonton. But Sean, I'm going to go with the upside here. I'll pick Winnipeg in 7.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with depth and goaltending over top end talent. I think that when you have Hellebuck, and then you have 3 lines that can attack, and a 4th line that can play in specific situations and forecheck hard, I think you have a chance to win. I'm assuming we're going to see Nick Ehlers in the series healthy. I think that was a big blow to them losing him, and I just think there's more players that can strike on Winnipeg than on Edmonton. So I'll go with a Winnipeg in 7.
All right, so let's go to the Montreal-Toronto rivalry. You said you like the upset of Winnipeg over Edmonton. Do you like the upset of Montreal over Toronto? Because if they beat them, it's an upset.
It is an upset, and Sean, I know it's going to upset people when I make this pick, right? I laugh because people take those picks, and they, especially Sportsnet, had their picks, right? And they post them
Leafs,
all,
Leafs,
and
Leafs,
then,
Leafs,
and then
Leafs,
the
Leafs.
Habs fans jump on it, and then they'll take
Only,
last year's picks from the
yeah.
Penguins, and they'll put it side by side.
By the way, shout out to friend of the podcast, Eric Engels, for the only one at Sportsnet to take Leafs in 7. Everybody else was less than that.
Yeah, and I love Eric. Didn't like his cop out on Twitter, and I'll tell him this to his face, but didn't like his cop out, Sean, where he said, "I wouldn't be surprised if the Canadians won the series, though." No, either pick them or don't.
I know.
Don't say I wouldn't.
He's
be
pandering to the
surprised.
market that he covers. That's what he does. He's pandering to the market that he covers.
But pick them then. All right.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say Leafs in 5.
Okay.
I think this is the best Leafs team we've seen in a while. I know
I
lot
believe
of
it.
Canadian,
I believe you when you say that.
I know Canadian fans like to say, well, they haven't won a playoff series since 2004. They haven't won a playoff series in decades. Well, like last year's performance and 10 years ago and 20 years ago, and The last time they won the Stanley Cup, it's completely irrelevant to this team and this roster and the way they're constructed now. I think I think they are trending in the right direction going into the playoffs. Montreal Canadiens not so much. I think there's more top end talent. I think this is the best Leafs blue line we've seen in a while. I see them as a far superior team. So I'm going to go with a 5-game series.
I think the Leafs are a very good team, and I think this is the best. I'm with you. I think this is the best Leafs team that I've seen in a very, very long time. I just have a huge question mark in goal, and I'm going a little bit on. I think Carey Price rested is something you have to watch out for. Bubble Carey Price rested was insane. That was less than a year ago. I know that it was up and down during the regular season, but when it counted, it mattered. Weber and Sherratt were a beast in the playoffs. I don't expect, anything different. Now, a lot of things have to go right for the Canadiens to beat the Leafs. A lot. But I'm going to go with the Canadiens in 7. I think that pressure, I think that goaltending will get to the Leafs. Do I think the Leafs are a better team? Yes. But I'm officially taking the Canadiens in 7 games. I think that it's not going to be as easy. The Canadiens, it's easy to pick it that way because of the way the Canadiens finished. They are getting a swamp of players back healthy. And I know Toronto is too, but Montreal's getting the players that actually matter down the stretch. And the Canadiens won games that with a roster that wasn't that great. So I'm just, maybe it's far-fetched taking the pick. And maybe it's that I believe that they can actually put things together in a row, like get their ducks in a row. Because if Danault and if Suzuki's bubble Suzuki, if Dadosh and is a shutdown line, and Evans and Byron are able to find this level, and Josh Anderson, Tyler Toffoli do the things, and Shea Weber, Ben Sherratt, and I know I'm listing things here, but I think I'm going with a little bit of a difference maker in goal. Once Campbell struggles for half a game, they're going to go to Anderson. Then Anderson's going to struggle, and then they have to go back to Campbell. And once you start questioning your goaltending, you're done in the series. That's all.
Yeah, I think couple things. I think you're also pandering a little bit to the fan base you're closest to.
I don't really
I think
care that much about that.
I know you don't care about it, but I think
they can beat them. I think they can beat them. I agree it's a long shot, but I think they can beat them.
And anybody can beat anybody. I'm not going to say they can't. I'm just going to say I don't think they will. You gave me a lot of if this happens and if that happens. And
I know
this and if that. And also, you outlined the goaltending. When's the last time Carey Price played well?
I'll take a rested Carey Price over untested Campbell or Anderson. And I'm going with the rested Carey Price because time has shown that when he's rested, he plays well.
Yeah, he's also just coming off a concussion. So,
all right. Just for time, you want to just get to our final 4?
Sure. Yeah. No problem.
Okay. So my final 4, Mitch, I have. Because when Montreal gets by Toronto, I think they can get by Edmonton. So I have Montreal, Tampa, Colorado, and Pittsburgh.
Okay. I have, and by the way, if Montreal gets by Toronto in the first round and plays Edmonton in the second round, I think Montreal could beat Edmonton.
Yes, and they would be right
much like, and also like how you look at the head-to-head matchup for Minnesota and Vegas. My final 4 was Carolina, Pittsburgh, Toronto, Colorado.
Okay. So we have Pittsburgh and Colorado the same.
That's right.
In our final 4. So then what leads to your final? My final would have Montreal versus Colorado in a matchup because of the reseeding. And then my other one would be Pittsburgh and Tampa. So I would have Tampa beating Pittsburgh, and I would have Colorado beating Montreal, and I would have a Colorado-Tampa final.
I'm all fucked up because of the reseeding.
Okay. So what are your final 4?
My final 4, Carolina, Colorado, Pittsburgh, Toronto.
So Colorado, Toronto, Pittsburgh, Carolina.
Okay, so my Stanley Cup final doesn't change from even if it was not a reseed. So I'll go with a Carolina-Colorado Stanley Cup final.
Carolina would face Pittsburgh. Toronto would face Colorado. So you have Colorado, Carolina, and your winner?
Yeah. My winner, Carolina. The Carolina Hurricanes winning the Stanley Cup.
I have them losing to Tampa in the second round. But if they make it through, I think Carolina can win it all. I love that team. And it's funny, we did our power rankings of most likely to win the Stanley Cup a couple episodes ago. And I kept mentioning Carolina, but I didn't pick them in the top 5. And the only reason I didn't pick them is because they're in Tampa's division. And I have Tampa winning the Stanley Cup. For me, it's the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think they can. I think this is a team that can do the repeat. I think that they're that good. I love their blue line. I love their goaltender. I love their forwards. Just goes deeper and deeper. Just everybody that they put out on the ice. Man, it doesn't stop. And I trust every player and I trust every pairing on the blue line. And injuries are going to be a factor. And the only reason I don't take Carolina is I think that Tampa is that good in that division. Yeah, and look, I really think Colorado is very close to winning, and I think they can win it too. But I just have them losing to Tampa.
Look, if the Stanley Cup final is Tampa Bay, Colorado, I'll be very happy as a hockey fan. If Tampa Bay wins the Stanley Cup, I probably will be a little bit disappointed because you know how much I love the Avalanche. That said, to see a team win back-to-back Stanley Cups again, I'm all for that. So yeah, I like your picks. I feel something about this Hurricanes team. I don't know what it is.
They're good.
And I always look at when it comes to Stanley Cup winning teams, I always look at the blue line. I feel like with the exception of the Hurricanes team that won in 2006,
there's a depth there. I like their blue line in Carolina. It is solid.
And again, Tampa Bay's blue line is deep, but if Hedman's not 100%,
but if Hedman's not 100%, I think that it might be a factor against the Carolina team. I'm with you, but Hedman, they just have such a deep blue line.
Sure.
I don't know if we have time for a pop quiz or not. Brought to you by Cunningham's Pub.
Oh yeah, we got time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got.
All right.
Time.
You sure we got time for a pop quiz?
I'm positive we got time.
All right. So I'm gonna ask you, Mitch. I'm gonna give you 2 or 3 wrong answers.
Okay.
Because you're gonna have a some to choose.
Okay.
There are 5 goaltenders in these playoffs right now that have picked up a point. 5 in the playoffs, a playoff point, a goalie playoff point
in their career.
Okay. That are playing in the playoffs. They're on a playoff team.
Yeah.
How many wrong answers? 2?
There's 5?
There's 5 because you could go, but you can, you kind of know who's playing, right? So.
Yeah. Okay. No, wrong answers. I don't know. 2?
Okay. You're allowed to, so you can't have 2.
That's right.
All right. Go ahead. Pop quiz. Brought to you by Cunningham's Pubs, the best wings on the planet, not just the city.
I'll say Craig Anderson.
Craig Anderson is correct. Craig Anderson has 2 assists.
I'll say Carey Price.
Carey Price is incorrect. Your first wrong answer. No playoff points for Carey Price.
And you knew I was going to take Carey Price, didn't you?
Oh, hold on. I screwed up. He might have a point. No, I screwed up because I saw something. But he doesn't have a point, so Carey Price is the wrong answer. But there's more than 5. Sorry. The top 5. How's that?
Top 5?
Top 5. No but the top 5 playing, but Anderson is one of them with 2. Everybody has 2, by the way. The 2 or more. How's that?
All right. So
I just need 5.
Price had 1. Okay. I got you.
No, he has none. Price still has none.
All right. Oh, he has none. Okay. I'll go with Tuukka.
Tuukka Rask has 2 assists, so very good.
And Marc-Andre Fleury.
Marc-Andre Fleury has 3 assists. So you are missing number 1 and number, I guess it would be 5, but he has at the bottom.
5, but he's at the bottom. Okay.
Well, I mean, he has 2 assists too. So
right.
He's the bottom of this list that I have in front of me.
Okay.
So one has 2 assists, one has 6 assists. Goalies. Active goalies in these playoffs. They have more than 1 assist.
What about Yara Halak?
Yara Halak is incorrect.
There's my 2.
I like that. That's 2.
Yeah.
You got to get. If you think about it, you'll get it because these are. It's kind of obvious because of who they are.
What about Andre Vasilevsky?
That's incorrect. He does have a point,
Oh.
but not 2. So that's 3 wrong answers. Think about the old guys, like old guys. There's 2 old guys you're missing. One's not a starter, one is.
There's 2 old guys that I'm missing.
Yeah.
Cam Talbot?
No, older. Like, I mean older.
You mean older?
Older. One's almost as old as me. He's not, though.
That was my
But
Craig Anderson.
Yeah.
Uh,
And it would make sense because he's a very good goaltender playing the puck.
Mike Smith.
Mike Smith, he has 2. And the number 1 answer, you still don't have the number 1 answer.
Hellebuck?
He's a backup.
He's a backup. Frederick Anderson?
No.
Robin
Older.
Lehner?
Older. You mentioned the starter in this podcast.
I mentioned the starter in the podcast. Wow, we spoke about everybody. So that doesn't help
I
that
know.
much.
Yeah, I know, but you specifically mentioned him that he can win 1 game. There's your clue.
Specifically mentioned that he could win 1 game.
Yes, that's your clue.
Bobrovsky?
No, see, now you've already forgotten what
Pecorine?
you've said. Yeah. There you go, Pecorine, because he's back up to Saros now. He has 6 assists, so that is your pop quiz. Not bad, but you got him wrong, so you didn't get it.
No. I tried. I did my
You
best.
tried, you failed. Whatever. All right, those are playoff predictions, bracket style, just like that. So I have Tampa Bay winning the cup. I have Steven Stamkos winning the Conn Smythe. You got a Conn Smythe winner? You going Sebastian Aho?
Yeah, I'll go with Aho.
You didn't want to go Slavin or Teravainen or
I'll go Aho or Nadalkovic.
and that's a good one. But he might not play every game. That's the thing.
I know. That's why I go
think
Aho.
that's he just might not play. Like it's a tough thing with goalies now. Unless you're going to take Vasilevsky, it's like other than that, like no one's going to play. Like they're not going anywhere but Vasilevsky in the playoffs. Either way.
So if you're out there and you want to send us your predictions, go ahead. And don't only predict, but also subscribe, rate, comment, follow us on all the platforms, and give us 5 stars, please. 5 stars.
And I didn't even wear a hat.
Looking good, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. I won't dress up like this again.
Peace.
Well, how's that for your entertainment value?
They've done their job very, very well.
Come on.
VBF.